Who walks the stair without a care and makes the happiest sound? Bounce up and down just like a clown. Everyone knows it's Slinky, the best present yet to give.
Everyone knows it's Slinky. It's the familiar slogan for one of the most curious toys of the 20th century. That coiled piece of metal or plastic that uses gravity to seemingly walk down inclined surfaces. When Richard James invented it in the 1940s, he probably didn't expect it to become as popular as it did in the decades to come. And almost certainly he didn't expect that one day there would be video games about it. Just about every odd concept you can think of was made into a game on 8-bit computers, so when Cosme released their Slinky game in 1983, it didn't seem so out of place. It was available for the Atari 400, VIC-20, TI-99, and Commodore 64 formats. The game itself, unfortunately, wasn't exactly overflowing with originality. It was merely another Q*bert clone. The movement in it was well animated, but besides that, it was slow-paced, didn't offer anything novel in terms of gameplay, and lacked memorable characters. Cosme's Slinky wasn't much of a success in terms of quality or sales, but the concept of using Slinky-like characters in games wasn't dead yet. In 1986, Microgen released Frostbite for the Sinclair Spectrum. It later came out for the Amstrad CPC, Atari ST, Commodore 64, and Amiga. A few years ago, there was a freeware remake for Windows PCs as well. This was a platform adventure game where you traversed caves to rescue your fellow Slinky-likes called Creasers. The controls took some getting used to. You could fire at enemies, but as soon as you moved, it would change the position of your shot, so you needed to carefully plan your combat around this. When performing jump attacks, you needed to quickly press left or right in midair to position yourself for shooting. So the game had a bit of a learning curve, but once you got past it, it offered a solid experience for fans of exploratory action games. Whether it was influenced by Frostbite or just a coincidence, a noticeably similar game from Atlas was released for the TurboGrafx-16 in 1992. Summer Assault also had a Slinky-like protagonist, which fired shots in different directions depending on its position. The game was more action-oriented than Frostbite, however, and the design was more accessible. Instead of methodically having to plan your way through areas, you could move and shoot a lot quicker and withstand more hits. It didn't have the same emphasis on platform jumping either, as you could cling to any surface. The jump button propelled you to the adjacent floor, and you automatically stuck to it like a magnet. By now you may be wondering what the premise of this game was. Well, you were on a mission to defeat an evil sorceress who had summoned creatures based on zodiac symbols to do her bidding of conquering Mesopotamia. Naturally, it was a Slinky-like thing's job to stop this. The game also had you input your birthday at the beginning. I won't spoil it, but this was a neat touch as your zodiac sign had a minor effect on the events of the game. While I wouldn't call any of the aforementioned titles excellent, Summer Assault really does hold up quite well. Frostbite is also worth playing if you have the patience for trial and error. Modern gaming hasn't forgotten Slinky either. I've yet to try it, but an officially licensed Slinky game developed by Progressive Media was released for mobile phones just last year. So even if you have outgrown the excitement of the actual Slinky toy, you might want to take a look at some of the games it's influenced.
What walks downstairs alone or in pairs and makes a slinkety sound? A spring, a marvelous thing. Everyone knows it's Slinky, it's Slinky, it's Slinky. For fun it's a wonderful toy. It's Slinky, it's Slinky. It's fun for a girl and a boy. It's fun for a girl and a boy.